Welcome to the fourth video of Machine Consciousness, Simulation and its Discontents, Part 2. This video continues into the problem of simulation with a particular focus on illusions. Descartes laid out two key facts in his meditations that we reviewed in previous videos. Thoughts exist and are separate from physical phenomena, and thinking and reason are used to understand physical phenomena and determine truth. The upshot is that through the process of thinking, we separate physical phenomena from illusions. Let's review what a simulation is. Simulation is the imitation of the appearance of an object or phenomena, or an imitation of a process or system that is not the imitated object, phenomena, process, or system. The mirror image illustrates a core problem with understanding a simulation. What is the difference between the simulation and the real thing? Another way to think of this is that there is an order of occurrence and an order of appearance. For instance, an object occurs first and is then reflected in a mirror. Experiences and memories occur in a kind of order as well. We have experiences and then we formulate ideas about those experiences. This order of experiences that are followed by ideas can be called the order of appearance. The experience appears first. The order of appearance means that experience itself precedes ideas about experiences. Physical experiences precede knowledge of physics and the existence of physical laws. However, our view of physics is that physical properties and laws occur before, or pre-exist, our experience of physical phenomena. The nature and fact of physical phenomena precede our experiences of those phenomena. We can call this view the order of occurrence. The order of occurrence depends upon the idea that physical phenomena and some ideas are objective to experience and appearance. Consider the stick in water again. The fact that light refracts pre-exists the experience of seeing the stick bent in water, occurrence. Learning the bent stick is an illusion produced by refraction occurs after the experience of seeing the stick bent in water, appearance. Refraction is an idea, and we learn about refraction after we experience the phenomena itself. The concept of refraction appears to us after the physical phenomena, such as the bent stick. But the concept or fact of refraction exists and occurs before we experience the phenomena of refraction. The order of occurrence asserts that the idea of refraction is true and exists before we learn about it. If facts and some concepts are true and exist apart from when they appear to us, then we can conclude that the universe follows some kind of order of occurrence. Why should we believe the universe operates in that way? Approached another way, why is our conception of physical facts and the function of phenomena of the universe indirect? Why not apprehend how the physical universe works directly? Why should we encounter instances of experience instead of the underlying mathematical models that seem to describe the physical phenomena so well? Why is our apprehension of facts and true concepts a piecemeal fumbling process that occurs as we learn and develop? Why isn't a perfect understanding built into our awareness at the start? These are not rhetorical questions. These questions inquire into the nature that there is an order of occurrence and an order of appearance, and that these orders are separate. It also reveals the more fundamental question we will answer later. How do we develop concepts at all? As a rule of thumb, we believe in the order of occurrence, yet we remember the order of appearance. Between the two orders, we are more certain that the order of appearance happens before the order of occurrence. This is how experience works. We learned about refraction before we believed refraction is a fact that pre-existed our learning about it. The mind model explains the order of appearance as a side effect of individual learning, as if ignorance delays the appearance of facts about the universe. Facts that are parts of the order of occurrence. That is, ignorance creates an illusion, but individual learning is not an explanation of why the order of appearance and occurrence differ. It is merely a story which explains that the orders differ. Our ordinary reliance on a concept of mind dismisses the order of appearance as a kind of illusion in the mind, yet fails to explain the order of occurrence. How can there be objective facts which occur apart from our experience at all? A theoretical framework of consciousness, and thus of how simulations occur, must explain how both orders exist in the universe, not just one or the other, because the order of appearance is not an illusion. Illusions are where? When do they occur? Illusions like qualia are not contained either in physical phenomena, sensation, or cognition. Perception is where illusions and qualia occur, after sensation but before cognition. Yet the order of occurrence dictates that illusory perceptions must be illusions before cognition and before perception. The fact of phenomena will appear as an illusion must pre-exist the idea of that fact. Otherwise, how could we perceive an experience is an illusion? Illusory perceptions must be illusions as an objective fact, before the experience of the illusion or at the point of perception. However, as we saw with Descartes' stick in water, it is only thought, reason, and cognition which determines that a perception is an illusion. This contradiction implies there are no external or objective properties of illusions, just as there are no objective characteristics for qualia, because the awareness of the qualities of experience occurs after the experience itself. Experience is what manifests those qualities. The preformation of a perception as illusory is not required if experiences follow the order of appearance. The idea that an experience is an illusion is not something about the illusory experience itself, it is something about the appearance of that experience. Perception and cognition experiences are separate. The moniker of illusion is applied after the fact of cognition, not at the moment of perception or before. Phenomena are experienced as they are, as things in themselves, whether they are illusions or not. And it is only via cognition, which takes place after an initial experience, that an experience is deemed an illusion. This sequence demonstrates the order of appearance. Let's look at the illusion of solar motion. Consider the idea that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. The rising and setting of the sun is something that is outside our experience. We can be unconscious and the sun will rise and set without us. The phenomena of solar motion adheres to the order of occurrence, not to the order of appearance. Through most of history, people believed the sun traveled across the sky. This was a self-evident fact. It was treated as being something in the order of things that occur, not merely as something that appears that way. The motion of the sun is part of our experience, but the force which produces its travel was something outside our experience. That is, we only saw the results of solar motion, but why the sun moves was a mystery. But as we now know, the sun does not travel around the earth. Like the stick bent in water, that story is an illusion. What we think of as a fact of occurrence outside our perception may just be a story, or a simulation. The story we tell now is that the earth rotates and orbits the sun. But we have more than the story to understand this phenomena. We have observations from space and measurements of rotation and the flattening of the spherical mass of the earth that creates measurable bulging at the equator. Like the sun orbiting the earth, we need a better story than the mind to explain consciousness and experience. One that can include measurement to understand when and how consciousness is happening and what side effects may be produced. The experience of a moving sun is a subjective illusion. It is an illusion we all share. Again, illusions are where? Illusions cannot be explained by the order of occurrence, because the order of occurrence is believed to be external to or objective from our experience, and illusions appear as subjective or internal, which shows we rely on the order of appearance first and believe in the order of occurrence in special cases. If we did not, illusions would always be seen as objective phenomena and could never be perceived as illusions. Even though illusions are atypical experiences, the process of identifying illusions as part of an order of appearance is what allows us to conceive that there is a separate order of occurrence. Terms like subjective and internal are assertions that a mind exists and that the mind is where experiences appear. As Nietzsche rightly pointed out, this idea of a mind is built into our concepts and language. The mind model, which includes ideas of subjective and internal, does not explain how the order of occurrence is developed or how occurrence is distinguished from the order of appearance. Both processes, developing an order of occurrence and distinguishing it from appearance, obviously take place. Using the conceit of a mind to explain away the order of appearance and the fact of illusions is not a functional explanation. It is a what, but not a how explanation. We need a functional explanation for how and why the order of occurrence and the order of appearance both arise. The straightforward explanation is that we simulate how experience happens. We imagine our experiences, and that is how we determine illusions happen. What we cannot prove is whether all our experiences are or are not simulations. We are very certain our experiences are not simulations, but it is an unprovable belief. However, even if we live in a simulated universe, simulations and illusions are things that do exist. This fact of simulations and illusions must be accounted for in our theory. How can things like simulations and illusions and imagination exist at all? Where are they? All mind models fail to describe the process by which illusions, simulations, and especially errors happen. Errors. How does the mind produce errors? If the mind can produce logical and mathematical certainties, how does the mind also produce mathematical and logical errors? The typical concept of mind asserts that errors and illusions happen because of some structural configuration in the brain or body that produces the error. these mind models appeal to materialist or physicalist philosophy to explain that errors happen. But materialism or physicalism cannot explain why the brain should produce errors any more than why the brain should produce accuracies and mathematical certainties. All mind models and idealist philosophies place errors as something outside the rational mind. The assertion is that the rational mind is the source of truth through logic and reason, or is the means by which we apprehend truth, and the source of error and illusion is the irrational mind. Where and how does the mind or the brain bifurcate between rational and irrational? What causes the bifurcation? Is there only one bifurcation, or are there many? How can we tell? We can begin asking even more ridiculous mind questions. The more we inspect the concept of mind, the more self-contradictory it becomes. Even the concepts of subjective and internal show how fragile the concept of mind is. Where does the concept of mind come from? Where do any concepts come from? How could concepts come from a mind? For example, what is the functional process that distinguishes between erroneous and actual phenomena, or between erroneous beliefs and true beliefs? Where, in the mind, or anywhere else, do we distinguish between the actual and the erroneous? What is being distinguished? Where are the distinction characteristics? As we argued in the last video, there is no mind there. The distinction between actual and erroneous must itself be in the mind, which is circular reasoning. Relying on the concept of a mind inevitably leads to the conclusion that everything must be in the mind, which gives rise to idealist philosophy. And this philosophy is perpetually at odds with our experience of physical phenomena. We would like to say that we simulate the world in our minds, but where is that? The fact of errors and simulation phenomena forces us towards the more fundamental problem of awareness. Awareness and simulation. Whether we simulate or are in a simulation or not, whether we experience illusions or not, whether we have erroneous ideas or not, whether we have a mind or not, we are confronted by the fact we are aware. There is awareness, awareness of ideas, illusions, errors, and experience, which leads us to ask, what is awareness? How does awareness work? The mind is an idea. We have an experience of our mind. We imagine it. We are aware of our mind, and we make up a story to explain that experience. But that is it. The mind is only an idea. It has been used to explain thoughts and experiences of all kinds, but we can't show where the mind is, or what it is, or how it works. Like the motion of the sun through the sky, the mind is something we experience, but we cannot figure out what forces move the sun through the sky any more than we can figure out how the mind makes thoughts, because neither thing is actually happening. We must abandon the concept of mind and ask more fundamental questions. What are ideas? What is experience? How does awareness work? If we can understand how awareness works, that may give us a path towards understanding how simulation can happen and how errors, illusions, and ideas come about. Simulation is perhaps the key conceptual problem for consciousness. In a physical universe, how can anything be simulated? Because what is being simulated is non-physical. How do you go from physical to non-physical? We could describe our task for machine consciousness as creating a simulation using computation, a simulation that creates errors, illusions, and facts. We must explain the process by which errors, illusions, and facts occur in experience. Our simulation should be able to recognize, be conscious of those errors. It must be able to distinguish between errors and facts for us to begin thinking it is aware. If something cannot be aware of errors, what is it aware of? Why should we think such a thing could be aware at all? The inability to perceive error indicates a lack of awareness. Mechanistic processes do not and cannot perceive errors. We will see this problem in relief when we consider how to program a computer to play the Simon Says game. Thanks for watching.